now, folks. The questions will be saved. Use the Q&A. I think Q&A saves with my recording. I'm not sure about the chat. Maybe it does. Like I said, ask any questions you want. This is about Las Vegas Legacy Sports Clubhouse, the newest in baseball training coming to the Valley. It's 10 years in the making. And Chad, it's 8:02 right now, so I'm going to let you go ahead and start the show. Anybody that shows up a little bit late, we'll let them know they can watch the recording, and we'll get this started.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat, for letting me get on board here. And thanks for the couple parents I've already spoken to on the phone. Appreciate you guys hopping on board. But we're just going to go over, for the parents I've already talked to, a lot of what we already talked about. We'll go in a presentation form to learn about the Legacy Sports Clubhouse. But I'm going to talk about Pat for a second. I met Pat well over 20 years ago when I was playing in AAA baseball here. I was playing in Nashville, but living here in Las Vegas. He asked me to speak at one of their events. Pat was coaching the Henderson Sluggers way back in the day. Players like Joey Gallo, Chris Bryant, Joey Rickard were on his teams. So he's coached big leaguers when they were young 9 and 10-year-olds. But Pat, I met. Great guy. He's coached thousands of kids, done thousands of lessons. It's just been really the vision behind Legacy Sports Clubhouse. So Pat is an amazing dude. He's the GM of Legacy Sports. My name's Chad Hermanson. I'm a local guy. Went to Green Valley High School. I was a first-round draft pick by the Pirates in '95 out of Green Valley. Played pro ball for about 13 years, 3 years in the big leagues with a couple different teams. And I spent the last 8 years as an area scout for the Angels. So I come to Legacy with, a player background, a scouting background, and I'm a big part of, if you've ever played the game of baseball before or any sport, you know how important the mental side is. So I'm bringing the mental edge, my company, to Legacy Sports here. And what we're going to talk about tonight is the facility. We're going to talk about what does that look like. We're going to be located right off of Pecos and Sunset. You guys can see here, this is what we hope it to look like when it's ready to roll. An artist rendition here. This place is going to be enormous. It's going to be 20,000 square feet, 80-foot deep cages. We call them fields. We're trying to get away from the just a cage mantra, but we're able to push these nets back. We can use it for multi-purposes. We're going to have a completely separate area where it's a speed and agility, strength and conditioning center. That's going to be about 2,500 square feet. Our facility will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. When you see the 9 a.m., we're going to have adult classes as well. We have a couple of our strength coaches on the call with us tonight. They'll be teaching adults during the day and working with kids in the evening. Pat has an apparel store. So all the uniforms that we're going to be making for our teams, he's going to be doing that right within the facility. Parents that do want to come to the facility and watch their kids practice, we will have a parent lounge for you. We're going to try to keep you safe behind a brick wall and a plexiglass so the players can really focus on what the coaches are teaching them.
Yeah.
So this is, guys, what the facility will look like. It kind of really paints the picture here. On the far left side is the Sports Performance Fitness Center. Again, so that's 2,500 square feet just there. We're going to have a lot of space. In the middle is where we'll have people check in. We'll have a pro shop with some stuff you can purchase there. Just to the right of that with the 4 tables there, that's going to be the parent section. So one thing that we felt was important is, while we want every kid that comes here to be there for 2 hours, the first hour is to do baseball skills, the second hour to do the strength and agility portion. So we'll have TVs in there available for you because we want parents to stay off of the turf as well as the fitness center. We want to keep you guys safe and the athletes safe, so you'll be able to see your players doing their workouts on the TVs that we have available there. On the turf, just the turf itself is about 8,000 square feet. We'll have 8 fields. We'll probably keep field 1 and 2 closed for hitting purposes. We'll be using Hack Attack and Fungal Man in there, and then we'll be able to open up all the other fields so we can utilize that for practices. So what is the Legacy Sports Clubhouse? What do we actually offer? So Jennifer, you had the question before. So the group training, right? So Monday through Friday, we have 4 to 9 p.m. on here. It's going to probably be more like 3 to 8 p.m. we will have our hour-long classes that are the School of Baseball. And that's going to, of course, cover all the skills that are involved with baseball: hitting, throwing, fielding. We believe players need to get a lot of reps. So we'll have coaches there to teach your players on the proper mechanics of fielding, hitting, throwing, everything that's involved with that, and get your athlete up to speed. And again, we want them there for 2 hours. So you guys can drop your player off, go get some shopping done, whatever you want to do, or you can stick around. It's up to you. The Mental Edge, that's my company. I'm bringing that. I already do bi-weekly live Q&A calls with players 12 up to college. And so obviously we're going to open that up to whatever age, even your 6-year-old. But it's a mentoring group. It's a Q&A. They can ask any questions, but we want to build these young men, not only on the baseball field, but off the field as well. We'll have other coaches involved in that as well. Private lessons. We get a lot of questions about that. Of course, we will do private lessons. Ideally, we do those before our School of Baseball, and a lot of them on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. But as time goes, we'll keep the private lessons open to see how this rolls with the School of Baseball and the numbers that we get. Players facility. So this is where we also differ from all the other cages around town. We are not a public batting cage. So what does that mean? That means that you can't just come in and rent a cage for 30 minutes, or you can't just bring a team in, for an hour or 2 hours and hit in our facility. This is for our legacy members or our team members only. So we're going to really take care of our organization, our members, and our teams. Players that are not a part of legacy at all, of course, they can sign up for a camp, a clinic, and they can also do the base assessment that will be a requirement for all of our members or team members. So who's going to be coaching your player, if they become a member or on a team? Pat and I have spent, about over 2 months now hiring coaches and qualifying them to coach your players. So we're talking about Matt DeWitt was on here earlier. We're going to have him talk real briefly. Matt DeWitt's a former major league player. We were Little League teammates. When we were 13 and 15, we went to the Little League World Series together twice. So guys like that, former major leaguers, former minor league players and managers, college coaches, and college players. Some might not have that high a qualification, but they're very good people. They love to work with players and kids. So Pat and I are personally qualifying each coach for you guys, where we hand them off, to your player to them. We plan on having a couple coaches at every class and every session. We're going to be using equipment and technology that, as a former scout, started to become very important. Now, Jennifer, someone like you that has a 6-year-old, hit tracks might not be super important for you yet, but as time goes on, we're going to start generating and gathering data, and information through hit tracks and all this, the diamond kinetics, stuff that was going to be very important as your player grows. Pat and I will be doing V1 Sports video analysis on hitting. So that's kind of what I specialize in on the hitting side. And Area Scouts platform, Pat's going to really dive into that and why that is so important. But as you see, this facility is designed for a pro player. Like when I was playing professional baseball, this is the facility that I would want to be in, to not only get reps off a fungo man or a hack attack, but to also get my data on hit tracks to see where I'm at. So let's go through some of our coaches, and I'd like to try something different here, Pat. Matt DeWitt is our first coach here. He's one of our first major league players that we hired. Matt, why have you joined the Legacy Sports Clubhouse?
Well, Chad, thank you guys. I appreciate the time. I'll be honest, when you came to me and kind of mentioned how Pat's vision was to make this kind of all-encompassing baseball facility, again, focusing on your athlete and making them better, not only as baseball players, but as men, that really attracted me. And again, I like to be around like-minded individuals. So when Pat and yourself came to me, it just sounded like something that I really wanted to be a part of. I've always been looking to get into coaching now that I've retired for quite a while. I'm an older person, so don't judge me for that. But wanted to get back into coaching. And unfortunately, you know, the opportunities just didn't see like a good fit for me until this presented itself. And again, it's because of like-minded individuals really love the game of baseball and want to put that first and foremost. And so that's why I've come on board.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, dude. Matt's a great dude. We've known each other since we were 12. It's kind of cool when you're working with kid, you know, in a job that you know the kid for so long. Cole Farmer, as you can see, is one of our other coaches. He's been a player and a college coach. Eddie Rompery played in the Detroit Tigers organization for 6 years. Brandon Bayardi, he actually played at UNLV here. He was a senior sign. I actually drafted him when I was an Angel Scout. He got all the way up to AAA with us with Salt Lake. He'll be on the strength and conditioning side. Jordan Bolton is a former Division II player at Colorado Christian. Emilio Grimaldi. How am I saying that right, Emilio? I want to give you a minute or two we just hired Emilio today. He just joined the club. Emilio, why did you come on board with us?
Hi, it's Emilio Grijalva. You're close, Chad. Matt and Chad hit on it. That this holistic, objective approach to improving performance and creating better men really attracted me. It's unlike anything else I've seen before. I'm excited to get the ball rolling, create powerful and healthy athletes. So this is going to be the place for sure.
Outstanding. And Emilio, he's been working with the UNLV football team. He was in the Army, so this guy's legit. We're excited about him. Quinn Mack, he's been a local here for a while, played in the big leagues in the Mariners organization for a while. Nick Rickles. Nick just retired from baseball, but he's got all the way up to AAA. He is going to be on Team Israel as one of their catchers. So when the Olympics start up here, make sure you check out Nick. He'll be our catching coordinator. Jason Johnson, we just hired a couple days ago. He's a local, went to Silverado High School. He's a Toronto Blue Jays associate scout. Brian Talati is also on the call with us tonight. Brian, you're going to be our head strength conditioning coach. Why did you come on board with Legacy? You have to unmute yourself.
My bad.
There you go.
I got you. Well, thanks everybody. Just wanted to say, you know, the reason why I took the position is I just saw the vision of what Pat and Chad wanted to do with kids, not just specifically with the baseball aspect of just playing baseball, but more of the strength training, getting kids, you know, fit, healthy, not just getting, you know, bigger muscles, just, you know, the ligaments, joints, the core, you know, every part of it. Also with nutrition also is very important. And, you know, I had this same aspect that I was looking at back in the day with my brother. And when I saw this with Chad and Pat, I said, where do you want me to sign? I want to be a part of this. And it was a blessing. And, you know, I thank these guys each and every day. So it's an awesome thing.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it, dude. And then Mike Sodders here. Mike Sodders pitched. He's a pitcher, former left-handed pitcher, made it all the way up to AAA. He's ran facilities before, brings a lot of knowledge to the game. So as you guys can see, we're continuing to add coaches almost weekly. And we continue to do that. We want to bring the best possible coaches here and just good people that genuinely want to help you as a family and your players grow to be men and just be mentors to them both on and off the field. So the School of Baseball, I never heard of a concept like that before. You know, most of us have just gone to a facility and hit in a cage. But Pat brought this concept to me and really kind of blew me away with, like, this makes perfect sense. Every coach we've talked to has said, if I were to start a facility, this is exactly what I would do. So Pat, I'm going to pass this on to you. You're going to share the vision of what the School of Baseball is. Teach us about base, why that is so important to get athletes started off on the right foot.
Fantastic. I appreciate it, Chad. Coaches, I appreciate you being on tonight. Matt's out here a lot. Guys, parents, these coaches are ready to go. They're itching to get on the field. We all are. And we're working daily to get this thing built up. So let me talk about this School of Baseball and our teams. Okay. What makes us so different? Okay. The biggest thing is called the base assessment. Now, I'm the state director for Area Scouts. So before we started opening up a Legacy, I became the director various scouts. Well, I do evaluations on kids. It's a 23 movement exam. And so we say now that we start at the base. So before we train an athlete, we need to know where they stand currently. And it doesn't matter whether they're 6, 16, or 26, or 46 or 56. This base assessment is for kids, young men, and adults. So, but once we can see where they're at, then we can quantify their improvements. Okay. And so we get a base exam about every 3 to 4 months. We do another base exam on them to see if their body's actually improving. What that does is it grades the facility. It tells us if the coaches are doing their job, because if your child's not improving, it's going to show in the numbers. And so that's why we do that. We're a complete player and athlete development center. It's all under one roof, and that's a blessing. It's a lot of people, a lot of teams, they'll work out at one place, hit balls at one place, go to another place to get private lessons, go to another place to get sports performance. We do it all under one place. We are a school of baseball and a sports performance center, but we also have teams. And we don't really call ours club teams. We're a baseball organization similar to like the Pirates organization or the Angels or the Yankees or the Red Sox organization. It's a minor league system when it comes to the teams. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So I say we work with 8 to 28-year-olds. Basically, in the off season, we wholly expect major league ball players, minor league ball players to find our location in Las Vegas to work out, because this is built for the professional, or it's designed for the professional. It's really built for the kids, but it's designed for the professional. So I also have what's called a Little Legacy program. It's typically for kids that are 5 to 7 to learn the game of baseball, and also to I use baseball as a way to turn those little bodies into young men. So as they start growing, if I can help them learn to love baseball at a really, really young age, they'll be in it for a much longer time, and we know that. So that's what makes us real different. What is a school of baseball? It's like regular school. School teaches math and science and English. We teach first base, second base, hitting. We teach all the positions. I even have a program that if a kid can learn all 9 positions over the course of a year or two, I'll buy that kid a glove. It's really hard to get this glove. I call it the gold glove. It'll be a Rawlings glove, a nice leather glove. And the reason I do that, it's kind of like earning a black belt in karate, but you really have to learn every position. Even though you may not play that position, you got to learn it. You got to take a test on it. You'll be videoed on it. You got to know it proficiently. And then also be able to share it with somebody else and teach in that position. And so if a kid can do that in all 9 positions and be a quality hitter, they get that gold glove. So now, unlike a lot of places that do baseball, I call them the Common Core baseball places. It's kind of mean, but that's what I call it. We don't teach the myths of baseball. You won't hear our coaches saying, get your elbow up, or, squishing bugs and things like that. That's just not something we do, because it's kind of a reverse of what really needs to happen in the actual game of baseball. Really old terms. My coach taught us that. And I think later on in life, they started changing that. So what we think is we want to think simplicity is best. Okay. We're kind of old school and new school put together. We have some young coaches. We got some older guys. I'm one of the older guys. And so we teach an old school style with a new school style. We believe data is very important, so we have all the equipment. But through hundreds and thousands of touches and reps under a watchful eye of a professional coach, our students will emerge as ball players. What that means is our kids are going to get reps, and I mean a lot of reps. I have a machine that holds 300 baseballs. It's called the Fungo Man. That Fungo Man can be programmed. It's a computerized coach. It can be programmed to drop the ball exactly in the exact same spot every single time to a shortstop or a second baseman or a first baseman working on short hops and scooping the ball. It can be placed at the wall for an outfielder to run back, find the wall, and catch the ball, or practice jumping to the wall to catch the ball. So there's all kinds of things the Fungo Man can do. So we're bringing some high-tech stuff. So up there in the top right, that's a drill that we was running last summer. Actually, it's probably 2019. This is actually a fielding drill with cones. We start with the cones, then we take a cone away, then we take another cone. And pretty soon there's no cones out there, and the kids have learned to come around the ball, set their feet, throw the ball. In this case, shortstop to first base, and make the play. And so it's all about baseball movements and how we go about teaching to get them there quicker. We don't just stand at home plate and hit baseballs around the field and hope they get the job done, because we know they won't do it. It's impossible. They need thousands and thousands of reps. Matter of fact, you need 10,000 reps to create a good muscle memory. So that's why we do that. On with School of Baseball, yes, we start with the base to understand the player's physical ability, followed by visual assessment of the baseball movements, whether it's hitting, fielding, or throwing. Then we look at the mental side. So we follow an MVP program. We do the mental side, the visual side, and the physical side. So we have an MVP program. Our daily regimen of training in our school enables us to bring along players in a fashion that their minds and their bodies can achieve success at the same time. Now, what's the big goal to all this? Getting to the next level. Now, what does that mean? For an 8-year-old kid, that means I'm going to make the all-star team when I'm 10, okay? Or when he's 10, he wants to make the 12-year-old all-star team. So he can go over to San Bernardino and win that tournament, go to the Little League World Series. That might be some kids' goal when they're 12. When they're 13, 14, it might be making the high school varsity team, making the varsity team. It's always what is the next step? Every player is different. Every player has different goals, but what we want to do is get them to that next level, and it's whatever that next level may be. So legacy teams, okay? We start with players who want to play the game of baseball. We develop them, okay? Now, a lot of places out there, I see ads all the time, hey, we're recruiting 2 kids, an outfielder and a pitcher, or we need a catcher and a third baseman, and we're a player development program. But then you look into the program, you find out what are they doing for player development? Well, what I see is that, well, they have practices and stuff. And yeah, you can call that player development, but not as intense as what Legacy is going to do. When we say player development, we mean precision, precise, and daily work on player development, from as little things as how to stand in the box. Even before that, how do we approach getting in the box? How do we walk up to the box? What do we do before we ever walk up to home plate? And so there's a lot that goes on behind it. Out of all the lessons I've done, the 20 years of working with kids have taught me a tremendous amount of things of how to teach them. And I figured out what works with kids, what doesn't work with kids. And one thing I know that doesn't work with any kid is when I start yelling and screaming at them. And that's why we don't do that. It simply doesn't work. So many groups playing the same. I went through that. So what we're going to have is a minor league system. Now, what that means is to say rookies through majors. So let's say we have a 10-year-old kid, he tries out, he grades out really low. So we make him a rookie. So we're not going to put him on the field yet as a team. We're going to keep him in the school of baseball until we can teach him to be good enough to play on a team. Then he can get up to a AA team, a AAA team, and a majors team. And that's where the tournaments start. We don't cut kids. We just put them in a position and put them on a team that they belong on. We don't turn our backs on kids. We don't, I always tell parents that, baseball will break a player's heart. Okay. Every one of these guys, all these coaches on here, all of us, myself included, have had our hearts broken in baseball. But what we want to do as coaches is break their spirit. We do not want to break the spirit of a kid. We work too hard to build the love of the game in this child. And there's a statistic out there, National Alliance of Youth Sports, 76% of all 14-year-olds quit when they're 14. I say all 14. Kids, by the time they become 14, they have quit. Those are kids that started at T-ball. Number one reason is their parents. Unbelievable. They've done this study like the last 10 years. It's always the same. Other reason is that they're injured. Okay. Kids get hurt and they don't like to play. My arm hurts. I don't like to throw the ball. My side hurts. It's hard to swing the ball, swing the bat. And so what we want to do is we want to build the athletes so the kids don't get hurt. That's my biggest thing about all this, the health initiative. That's why we start with the base. I can tell if your son's hurt when he goes to the base. I've actually done the base assessment and looked at the parents, said, you need to take your son to the doctor. Okay. And so we need to get him checked out. We need to get him a proper program. When the building opens up, we don't have the doctors, but we have the proper program to get them in shape. So that's a big reason what we're doing there. Now, it'll take some time to create and build these teams. Parents who truly want their son to develop as a ball player, the trophies will come, but that's not our driving factor. Our driving factor is building the program and getting the kids to become really good ball players. Our programs for all players, we hope to have 30 plus, like 36 kids at every age group. That way we can truly have a minor league system at every age group, 9 and under, 10 and under, 11 and under, 12 and under, AA, AAA majors. The kid may be at on a AA team, the very best kid on that AA team, we'll move him up to a AAA team. The kid on the majors team may be struggling. He's like the number 12 guy. We may move him down to a AAA team. So he competes with the kids he needs to compete with so he can get better. This is not done in any program that I know of. I've researched it across the United States. I've not found it yet. There may be one out there that does that. As far as I know, I'm one of the only programs in the country that truly sticks to his guns and stands with this minor league system. Legacy Sports Clubhouse is a full access for all Legacy team players. Okay, teams have 2 outside practices a week. Players can attend as many workouts as they want during the week at the School of Baseball. They can come in on the weekends, get extra time. Although when you come in, you don't get to go in with them, Dad, to throw balls to them or something like that. I always have coaches on staff working the floors every day, Monday through Friday. So each team player we kind of consider a home run member plus. He gets everything. He has access to the hit tracks, the fungo man, the diamond kinetics, all of our technical stuff. Gets discounts on uniforms. Parents do have to buy their own uniforms for the team. They get discounts on that because I make them, and so I make sure we get discounts. And again, the team players can attend any class, and we want them to get thousands of reps. That's what we want them to do. Daytime programs. Now, I just threw this slide in here tonight, Chad. We'll have adult classes, the base assessment for adults. So an adult can take the same base assessment as a kid, okay? We perform the same functional movement exam as sports. And what I say about it is that you don't have to be an athlete to train like one. There's a lot of adult programs out there, F45, there's CrossFit, there's Orange Therapy. There's all kinds of things out there for adults, and we're gonna have an adult program during the day at our place. So you get to train like an athlete and become another one. We're also going to have a physical education or PE class and summer camp class. And this will be offered to, our target is homeschool kids that need a PE type program. And these kids are in flex schedules now. Some of these kids are going to school part-time sometimes, and sometimes they're not, but they may not be getting the physical activity they need, like playing on the playground, things like that. So we're going to have a PE class that won't be centered around baseball or anything. It'll be centered around physical education. Baseball might be a part of it, but so will kickball and dodgeball, things like that. These are all like daytime, summertime programs that we'll be putting in that they'll last, a week, up to 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So that's something that we're going to have in the facility as well. So those are our daytime programs. How does all this work? How do you get started in this? Well, you sign up to be a member at Legacy. It's $79.95. Okay. You do the base assessment. Everybody does these two things. That's $97 for the base assessment. Very, very important that we do that. You pick a monthly membership, whether it's a single, double, triple, or home run, or the all access package. And then if you're on a team, you attend a team combine, which is where we do the base assessment and the on-field assessment. And when I say combine, it's like an NFL combine or a Major League Baseball, tryout camp. That's what you'll see on this. So the monthly memberships look like this. The single is 1 day a week. You're going to spend 2 hours, or you're going to get a skills class. Last about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Then you're going to get a sports performance class or strength and agility class. If you do the double, it just means 2 days. Triple home run, same thing, means 3 days or 4 days. I've added a grand slam. I didn't even tell Chad this, I don't think, but the legacy teams, it's $250 to be on a legacy team. They get 7-day access to this. But we probably have some kids that want to come a lot, maybe more than 4 days. They can buy the grand slam package. It's the same price, $250. They're just not on a team, but they still have unlimited access. So I've had some parents ask about that, so we've added that because we know there's going to be some kids that come to our facility, but they may play for another team, which is fine with us, but they still want to get all the good stuff out of Legacy they possibly can. So Legacy team do have all access. That's what's really special about it. It's their facility. It's a player's facility. Now I'm going to recap a little bit. If you have any questions, you can start putting them in the Q&A right now. We can answer them live. You can ask to be unmuted. I'll unmute you and we can talk. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But to recap, we are a membership baseball school of baseball. We're not open to the public. I've already had coaches and teams say, hey, man, can't wait till you're open because we'll be ready to get up there and hit. And I'm like, well, unless you join the club, you can't come in and hit. These are club teams, or they call themselves a club team or a tournament team. And they're like, oh, they feel dejected, like I turned them away or something. But they can come in and hit, but their coaches can't come in and work with the kids. We work with their kids. So it's a little bit different. We'll stick to our guns on that, though. We believe in player development and athlete development with quantifiable results. We keep track of numbers like no other. And we have a place in the account where it says assessments, and you can go in and look at these assessments. Now, something I didn't mention very much was about the area scouts. Now, area scouts, you can go to areascouts.com to learn more about that. But there's a player profile that you can start. It's $20 a month. Everything that we do at our school would be put into that profile, and you can see it. Other coaches can see it. As the kids grow up, it's kind of like their resume in baseball. And so, if you're on it for 10 years and you want to go to college, and a college recruiter can look at that and say, that kid's really made great development strides over these 10 years. So it's going to be very valuable. It's very inexpensive. $20 to do something like this is extremely cheap. And the fact that basically all you're doing is paying to have this information stored. The other thing it does is if there's, let's say a kid's batting average is not looking good, or the physical side from the base assessments doesn't look good, we give them corrective measures in video form, whether it's a doctor doing the video of how to do something, or whether it's a coach doing hitting or pitching from the area scout side. So area scouts is a very good. I would check it out. Like I said, I'm a state director. I'm the go-to person for area scouts here in town, whether it's for an evaluator or it's for a player. Legacy teams, it's based on Major League Baseball's minor league player development system. That's what makes it special. We'll move the kids up and down. Parents will have to sign these contracts, understanding your kid may get taken from one team to another. We don't do it overnight because we're not that mean. We're not going to say, oh, hey, by the way, you're going to California tomorrow. No, it's not that big league yet. But at the same time, we'll explain to you why we're doing something. We think your son needs to go from being a 10-year-old majors kid to being a 12-year-old AAA team because that will help develop that player more. On the other hand, you may be on a 10-year-old majors team and you really need to be batting 4-hole on a 10-year-old AAA team because you're just not up to that speed yet. You're struggling. We don't want kids to struggle too much. All the struggle is okay. We want them to be successful. Okay. And in baseball, you're successful 3 out of 10 times, maybe. And so then the middle side kicks in. That's why we have Chad there. So we work with them all the way up the ladder, rookies to majors, just like the big leagues. 12-year-old teams in 2022, we're going to start taking at least one team, possibly multiple teams to Cooperstown. That'll be a big trip for the guys. And in 2022, we hope to start our collegiate program, which is high school and college age players, and playing summer, summer leagues down in Southern California, things like that. So let's see. I see a question coming in here. Chad, did I miss anything before we start answering the questions here? Let's see. Are there specific days and time? Are there specific days and times for each program, or do you choose? Good question. And you do get to choose to a point. Let's say you buy a double package. Okay. So you buy the double package means you get to come to the facility 2 days out of the Monday through Friday. So you might pick Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday. You get to pick your day. We design the program. And so, baseball is a process. Not everything happens in one practice. And so you may come in and that night, we already have the program designed for that, that day. And it may be base running that day. It may be fielding that day. It may be a mixture of it that day. And so we will get used to who the kids are, what the kids need. We'll be following them. We keep records in the, it's called Easy Facility System. Every player has an account there, and we can put notes and things in his account. If we think he's weak in some area, we're going to make sure he gets that area, fixed up. So you get to pick the days. You can even pick the times. Now, what happens is that you'll go into an app. There'll be an app that you can use. You can say, okay, I want to bring little Johnny at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, but the 6 o'clock class is full on Tuesday night. Okay. So you have to pick another night. We're only going to have about 48 kids at a time in the program per hour. Now that means 48 times 4, we can run a couple hundred kids through the program in the week and in the day. So you'll have a lot of options. So, and that 48 is not a hard set number. It's just we can't have, 50 kids to one coach. We'll never do that to our players. It'll be a 1 to 10 ratio, something like that. And it'll be fast paced. And none of you guys have seen me do my lessons or run team programs or things like that. But I have a very good way to organize things, and it's always moving. So kids don't get bored when they're on my program. So anybody else have any questions? I only got one question there. So I see Andy Salgado jumped on. Does anybody have any kids there with them listening, and would their kids like to visit with us? Pretty quiet. Oh, that's pretty smooth. Chad, do you have anything that I'm missing? Some nights we have question after question after question. Other nights is not very many. So.
That was great.
Okay. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. I'm looking at the contacts now. Andy, I guess you can hear us okay. Did you happen to have any questions, or David Callahan? This is a good time to ask them. Andy, yes, I'm there. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight. When are you planning to open? That's the great, around June 1st. We are working with the permitting process, build out process. This is a 20,000 square foot building that was a furniture store. It's not a warehouse. It's going to be at Sunset and Pecos. They have to tear practically the whole inside of this building out and rebuild it for us. So that's the process right now. There's actually only a couple of walls that are going to remain in place, and they're actually getting cut up a little bit. They're taking the ceilings out, so we have really high ceilings. Like Chad said, these lanes are 80-foot long, and so there's a lot of work to do. So we're hoping the 1st of June, excuse me. But the program's going ahead and start. So we can say that we're opening now, but we'll only practice about 3 times a week during during this pre-period through April and May. I got to get a drink. 1 second. Okay.
Hey, Pat, one thing to mention. So Jennifer, you were talking earlier about looking to join with the school of baseball side of things. So
Right.
there's other players who are in that same boat, and we are going to treat them basically the same way we treat our team players. So when we're practicing outside for the next 2 months, we would have your son just join us with those practices until we actually, start when the facility opens, hopefully in June. So.
Yeah. And to elaborate on that a little bit, Andy, I see your question. I'll get to it in just a second. To elaborate on that a little bit, so let's say you sign up for a single package right now for the School of Baseball, and that would you'd start your package in May. Okay, the workouts you get to come to in April. So if you decide that you want to either join a team or you want to be part of the School of Baseball, April, I'm letting you come to any, I'll let you know every practice that we have, you get to come out to any of them. Okay, so maybe it'll be 3 times a week that you can come out during that time. But it's only after you purchase a package. Now, if you purchase a single package starting in May, you'd be able to come out to our practices once a week. Again, there'll only be like 3 days that we'll be practicing to get the fields. We'll do all of our practices outside, but that's a way that the School of Baseball and the teams will interact together. Our program, it's a very unique program to make it happen this way, but it works really well. I've done it on paper. I did it in Oklahoma a little bit as a test. Before I closed my facility there in 2016, I moved here in 2017. And so the School of Baseball will interact with the teams on the field during the months of April and May. And once we open up, then it'll be a lot different. So when are we opening? Okay, Andy, so I got 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds are trying out this Saturday, correct? That is correct. If you haven't signed up or you haven't paid for the base assessment, get with Chad. Chad, have you talked to the Sagatos?
I don't believe so.
Okay. If I tell you what, go to this next page over here. That's that Chad Hermanson, info@Legacy Sports. Chad will get that. But if you haven't signed up yet, you need to go to our website, and it's legacysportsclubhouse.com. Go to the team section and scroll down, fill out that information, and then you'll get a link to purchase the base assessment, and then you'll be able to get on the field for the tryout. So our tryouts, like I said, are different. They do cost $97. That is for the base assessment. Basically, this program's $200. We're charging $97 because our on-field assessment's also a $100 program. It's a $97 program as well. But since this is for our personal teams for Legacy, we're not charging for our on-field assessment's basically a major league scouting report is what it is for young kids. And so, but yes, that's all going to be on Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon. So we're going to ask everybody to show up at 8:30 to sign in and check in and get ready to start. So hope that answered that question. Any other questions? I answer that live. Okay. Let's see. Andy, I paid the base assessment. Perfect. You paid, you're there. So I need to pay the membership as well. Not now, Andy, you don't need to pay for it right now. Now you can, what you can do if you want to pick, like if you're going to do a team, you can go on there and you can pay the team. It's not going to charge you till May 1st. But you go ahead and start work. I think it'll charge you the $79.95 for the membership piece, but it doesn't charge you the $250. So basically, April's free except for the base and the $79, but you get to come to all the practices. And then in May, you'd start being charged for whichever program you purchase, whether it's a team or whether it's a School of Baseball. So good questions. And thank you for going ahead and paying and getting that on the list. So that's that helps us out when we get out there. So let's see, answers. I need to pay. Okay, answer that one. And thank you. Okay, got those. Any other questions from anybody else? Let's see, scroll through here. If you want me to unmute you so you can talk, you're welcome to ask your questions. Like Coach has got his glove on and ready to play. He's ready to go. Let's see, Tony Pine. Tony Pine is one of our potential coaches. Tony, if you have any questions, I'm happy to unmute you, or you can, if you have any questions for Chad or I tonight, or any other coaches. So, all right. Well, Coach, Chad, I don't see anybody else asking questions. So we must have answered all of them.
That's because you were amazing.
Oh my, give me a break. You gotta quit. You gotta quit. All right. Guys, I appreciate you being on tonight. We've done this in a good time. What time did we do this in? 43 minutes. Wow, this is excellent. This is recorded. It will go up on YouTube in a couple of days. Tell everybody you know that you talk to that have kids about Legacy Sports Clubhouse. That's the way we're going to grow, is with referrals. Once they start seeing how we are on the field, that's going to be another reason for our growth. We look forward to working with your kids, and we look forward to answering any other questions you possibly have. So hang on a second. Tony Pine, hang on a second. A lot of talk. Tony, I unmuted you. Got a question?
No, I just wanted to say thanks for inviting me. I apologize if you guys hear my daughter in the background. We're feeding her, but no, had a great meeting today with these gentlemen, and just wanted to say thanks for inviting me. And great job on the presentation. I'm excited.
Appreciate it, Tony. Appreciate it. I guess you asked your daughter if Daddy can play baseball again. Did you ask that question?
Can Daddy play baseball again?
Not answering. All right, very good. David DiCarlo, if you want to stay on, hang out a little bit. Let's see, Tony, if you'd like to stay on and hang out a little bit after we stop here, you can. That leaves David Callahan. I guess we answered all your questions. I hope so. But if not, get with Chad or myself, and we just want to make sure that all the questions that parents have are answered before we get going in this. It's going to be our goal is it's the best program on the West Coast. And I used to think Las Vegas, but I've changed my mind. We're just going to be the best program on the West Coast. So we're looking forward to working with the kids. We've been doing it for years, a lot of experience in this panel, and we can't wait to bring it to the kids. So, but that's all we have tonight. I appreciate you parents coming out, and have a good evening.